Hi, everybody. My name is Andy Whatley. Warm welcome to everybody joining us today. I'm the SVP of Global Business Development and Partnerships at Instreamatic. Joining me is the illustrious Simon Dunlop, Instreamatic's CMO. In full disclosure, Simon pays me to describe him as illustrious, so don't let him say otherwise. But we are excited actually to begin the first in a series of webinars dedicated to how Speaky is transforming, and I use the word revolutionizing because I really feel that, how we're revolutionizing different industries by enabling direct voice communications across billions, really billions of existing touch points. In this webinar, we're going to discuss how Speaky is used in the HR sector and helping companies foster healthier workplace cultures, improve employee retention, and really enhance the entire hiring process. Simon?
Andy, yeah, well, look, it's great to be here and spend half an hour talking about a subject which I love, which is how to use new technologies to make everyday activities and jobs that much easier. At the end of this seminar, we'll be sharing, or at the end of this webinar, we'll be sharing an ebook. So don't forget to download it, full of useful information about Speaky and how to deploy it in an HR environment. So look, let's get stuck in and discuss, I guess, first of all, why is it even important for companies to reduce turnover and churn and improve employee retention?
So, Simon, why don't we share some numbers here? Like, for instance, it takes an average of 42 days to fill an open position. Once an ideal candidate is hired, it takes 6 to 8 months for them to reach full productivity, maybe even longer in more technical positions. You know, from a business perspective, it's quite a lot of time to find and fill just one position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say not only that, but the average cost of finding and hiring new employees is $4,000. So the numbers kind of speak for themselves. And from a cost effectiveness point of view, it's simply cheaper and better for an employer to retain current employees rather than having to hire new ones.
You know, that number, you know, it's a whopper of a number. And really, when you think about it and multiply that out for enterprise level employers, yikes. But let me ask you this, Simon. Employee feedback is obviously important for a business. Everybody gets that. It's obviously an understatement, or either that or an insightful example of my acute sense of the obvious. But Simon, maybe you can share a little bit more on how important employee feedback really is. Some actual factoids, if you will.
Look, well, there's good data to support what we're talking about. Firstly, when employees are listened to or feel that they're listened to, they are 4.6 times more likely to feel empowered to do their best at work. And secondly, businesses that scored highest on employee engagement showed 21% higher levels of profitability. And then last but not least, I would say IBM research recently found that 90% of workers said that they are likely to stay at a company that collects and adds and acts on their feedback. So an environment where employees can feel empowered and listened to is an environment where they want to work. And often we see that it's not a one-off activity. It's something which is fostered over time in the workplace, so that employees feel that at any point where they want to give feedback, that it's easy to do so and that there's really no friction to provide it.
No, that makes total sense. And it is a culture. You're absolutely right about that. Given the fact that employees are so positively impacted by employers that not only solicit their opinions, their thoughts, their suggestions, and convenient for me to say so, by the way, because this leads directly to the relevance of our discussion of how HR management can leverage the power of our Speaky tech and strategy.
Yeah, I mean, this is right on point. There's a very easy way to do that for employers, and that is, to deploy Speaky, which is the product that we're talking about. And Speaky is a secure platform for employees to share audio messages with the company and thereby improving instant feedback and employee retention. And it's as simple and easy as recording an audio message, much in the same way that you would do for a friend, like literally you're on WhatsApp or you're on a messaging app and you record a message, hit send, and your friend receives it. Except this time it's going to your employer. And so it removes so much of the barrier to providing feedback at the point where you want to give it.
Yeah, I think to amplify on that, let me take you through just the very simple, easy steps to send a Speaky. First the user clicks to open the Speaky landing page. The employee clicks the Speak Now button and leverages and leaves their voice feedback. Excuse me. Our voice AI then analyzes the responses and delivers that data almost instantly to the dashboard. Talk about simple. I mean, nothing could be easier, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can actually try this for yourselves by scanning the QR code that's appearing on your screen now. So if you open a mobile phone, you point it at the screen, like scan the QR code, click through, and that will take you to a Speaky landing, a Speaky page where you can leave feedback now. So actually, if you leave feedback now, then we'll play back some of the feedback that we've received during this webinar at the end of the event.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about that, Simon, is that when you hear feedback by voice, it really does. There's so much nuance in the voice and the intonation, how people say something, that you really learn a lot just by hearing how somebody responded. But let's drill into this a little bit more. Being very specific, Simon, maybe you should share exactly where and how Speaky could work for an HR manager.
Yeah, sure thing. So, there are a few places where you can deploy Speaky easily to get pretty much instant results. And I would say, first of all, where Speaky can enhance the hiring process is, for example, at pre-screening stage. So let me give you an example. So here at the HR department is looking to hire new candidates and looking to pool new candidate applications. And they could ask, it's a simple question such as, why do you think, explain to us in less than a minute why you think you're suitable for the position? Or it's for a sales role and you ask an open question such as, give us an example of a time where you went above and beyond to provide a customer with service. And candidate then records a Speaky, and then instead of actually having to invite the candidate into a meeting, you have an extra layer of intelligence that you can gather by actually listening to the way that they've responded to a particular question, and deriving a lot of sort of nuance and emotional intelligence from the way that person has actually answered the question through speaking. I would say a second is improving workplace culture. So we all understand that companies need genuine feedback to improve, need to understand truth in the workplace, and Speaky guarantees complete anonymity so that employees can speak freely about what's going on in the workplace. So you can ask them through employee pulses, pulse questions, ask them what's going on in the workplace, ask them how they feel about things like factory safety or corporate culture, benefits programs, inflation, wages, anything that might be a pertinent question of the moment. And especially in this new workplace reality where a lot of work is taking place remotely. I mean, some companies have returned completely to the office. Many are working with a hybrid model as the new norm. And so when you have people working remotely, it's even more important to maintain corporate culture and to keep touch with remote workers, and for them to feel that they can contribute and give direct feedback to workplace culture. I say thirdly, a third use case is with employee retention, where you can help your employees to be heard, make them feel actively engaged in a direct and yet anonymous, if they choose for it to be anonymous, conversation, and to pool their feedback on various topics. So that's those are just a few cases, and as we see the product scaling up, we're finding more and more different ways to deploy it that seem effective, innovative, and frankly better than the existing methods that are out there. So Andy, maybe just give us a quick insight into how it works.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of the why, right? It's two words to start with: simple and fast. There's no tech to set up. Couldn't be easier to set up, distribute, and use Speaky. Creating a Speaky landing page takes less than 5 minutes, and I think more like 2.5 minutes, but just being generous there with 5 minutes. And leaving a Speaky, well, as you saw yourselves, doesn't take more than a couple of minutes or even 30 seconds, all of which is 10 times less than the average survey completion time for more traditional survey approaches. So to the survey resistant, a critical difference. Suddenly you're able to reach those people who are generally survey resistant. Our communication channel is completely anonymous. We offer a built-in anonymizer. That sounds kind of cool, huh? The anonymizer. But the anonymizer can change and disguise anyone's voice beyond recognition, so the company can feel totally comfortable sharing their true thoughts, their honest thoughts about the workplace, which if it's anything less than that, then has no value to you as the HR leader. It's completely frictionless, as Simon said. Teammates leave Speakies on their own schedule, when they want to, where they want to, in a car, in the office, on the go. And those teammates' answers appear in a dashboard automatically, so you get results at your fingertips in really no time at all. This turns analyzing the results into an effortless and an immediate action. I hope that offers some of the why how.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think here what's important is that to an HR manager or to the HR department, all of this information is fed back in a super easy to read dashboard where you can see, you can spot trends, hot topics, and you have everything really at your fingertips. But I just want to emphasize, because I think it's so simple that we kind of overlook it, that just the concept, the idea that you don't have to, type a long essay into a phone screen, but you can literally just click and speak what's on your mind, I think is just such a powerful tool for a very mobile generation, which is, we are all on the go the whole time, and our mobile phone has become our main communication and computing device. So we really believe that this is the right product for this time and place. Yeah, well, I think we've pretty much run through it, and we've given a good overview. Thanks, Andy, for the info, and I hope the audience out there has had the chance to leave a couple of speakies. So perhaps let's see now, or listen rather, to any questions that were provided while we were speaking. I think Emma, could you pull up a speaky if you've got one available there?
Yep, exactly, playing it right now.
Great.
Hey, this is really interesting. Thank you for the webinar. I have a question. What are the steps to implement Speaky and use it for employee retention?
Simon, why don't you take that one?
Yeah, so it really couldn't be more simple. It's literally, there's a simple sign up process. You complete a form on the website. Once you're signed up, we provide you with a login to the dashboard where you can build your own Speaky landings, and you can get going immediately. And then you can provide a link to the landing either through a QR code or through a URL share through newsletter or email or in social media, social feeds, on your LinkedIn profile. Actually, frankly, wherever there's a potential contact point with an employee, then you can use it. So we've seen some customers use this literally as a form of contact me for interested candidates, where candidates can can leave a brief description about themselves, about what they're interested in. So there are so many different places where you can deploy it. As I said, literally wherever there's a contact with an employee or a potential candidate. Yeah, that's it couldn't be more easy. And we have a team here, so you just get in touch after the webinar, and we can help you on board.
Somebody else had a question here, and rather than play it back, because I think it's in the chat tool, someone's asking, where is the data stored, and what compliances are there? The answer to that's real simple. It is of course, our servers where we ingest, our voice AI ingests the audio feedback and provides the data. It is a fully secured environment, so you can feel comfortable that the data is safe. Do we have another one that we could play back, Emma, besides that?
Yep.
Hi guys, thank you for all the information you gave us with the webinar. I was actually wondering, how exactly does Speaky makes your audio message anonymized?
So I think, to understand the question, I think the question is, how do we anonymize the how does that work? There's a few features to that process. One is when a person clicks Speak Now, they are everything at that point is completely anonymous. There's no email address associated with it, no mobile phone number associated with it. It is absolutely anonymous. The other is the new feature that we've added or are adding, the anonymizer, which changes the voice so it is not recognizable by anybody on the HR team, which of course leads to the employees feeling very comfortable about the anonymity of their submission, and feeling comfortable with being able to speak freely about how they really feel about the company. Do we have any other?
Yeah, I think that's it. So 2 speakies came in, and yeah, please, we encourage you to download the ebook, read through yourself, get in touch with either myself or Andy, send us a speaky, and we look forward to working with you and seeing Speaky deployed through your organizations. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and be sure to stay tuned for the next webinar, by the way. And don't forget to leave us a Speaky today if you have any questions left or you want to use Speaky at your workplace, and you will receive your own copy of the ebook after the webinar. So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.